Hey, sweet friends, let's throw together a quick and easy little dish here using things that I have, some of my leftovers. Also, y'all know I love to do that. I had just a little bit of that ground chuck left that I was talking about last night that I used for my chopped cheese. Well, I still had some. And it's not much, as you can see here. It's just a little bit. And I thought I need to use that or freeze it up. So we are going to use it. And then my leftover chopped cheese that I didn't use, we're going to add that in with it. But of course, it's already cooked. So we don't have to add that in just yet. But some of you may be familiar. You know, there's a little dish that you can do. It's like a ground beef mixture, and you layer it up with some really thinly sliced potatoes. And actually, I've been wanting to make that dish. I'm not going to make it exactly like that tonight. We're going to take a little shortcut and just use things that I have, and we're going to use these little cheesy scalloped potatoes, make up a delicious flavored up ground beef mixture, and we're going to kind of just cook it up in a little casserole dish here. This is my first time. I've never made this. This is just something that kind of come to mind earlier, and so I kind of sat down for a second and threw this all together in my head. So that could be dangerous, right? We're going to see. I think it'll turn out to be a delicious little dish. Very, very inexpensive. Very quick and easy, and I think I'm gonna love it, and I think y'all will too. So anyway, first things first, I just got to get this little bit of ground chuck cooked up that I have here. Like I said, I have my leftovers from our chopped cheese that we did. I have it right here, as you can see, and that cheese is not gonna hurt a thing. This is already flavored up really good. And once I get this cooked, we're just going to toss this in there with it, y'all. And a little bit more seasoning, and our ground beef part will be done. We'll just have to work on our potato layer, and we'll have this dish in the oven in no time. I'll be back in a second, y'all. Alright, y'all, that didn't take but just a couple of minutes to cook that little bit of ground beef. I took my paper towel, got the grease out. Now I am going to toss in our leftover ground beef. And this will make the perfect amount. And we got to put, I'm going to add in a little bit of water in here. And now that I see we have all this good stuff in here, I'm just going to put the water in here, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'll put a little bit of water in that bowl. We'll get it back out in a second. But to this, I know we already had a little bit of onion in our other ground beef, but we're going to add a little bit more in. I'm going to kind of try to break these up just a little bit. You know, we left this in really, really big chunks. But anyway, I have a little bit of onion here. I'm going to just put some of that in and let that cook down a little bit. And this was just some I already had diced up in the fridge. You know, you can't get any easier than this, I tell you what. I want to add in a little bit of smoked paprika. Now this is something you season it to your liking, okay? So just a little bit of that. I am going to put in some W sauce. Let's see here. Just drizzle some in. Alright, and for our other seasoning for this, before we mix all this together with our potatoes and all of that, let's get this kind of combined up first. I am going to put in a little bit of this au jus gravy mix. Y'all know this gives such a great flavor to stuff like this. This little dish reminds me, if y'all remember, whenever I did the shepherd's pie with the twist, and I did the little scalloped potatoes on the top. This is a lot like that, except we're not going to add any vegetables or anything. We're going to keep this just strictly the ground beef and potatoes. However, you can, if that's what you want to do. Now I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on. We don't need nowhere near this whole package, especially like I said, we already have the onion soup mix. Now, if you're doing this and you're not using leftover ground beef like I am, and most likely you're not going to be, just cook you up a pound or so of ground beef. And then you can season it with the onion soup mix. You can do the au jus mix. You can do a little bit of both. Like I did, just go with it with whatever you have and whatever you think that you would like to have in there. But you can tell by looking at it, it's seasoned up really well. It smells wonderful. And so now, that little bit of water that I poured in our bowl here where we had our stuff, I'm just going to pour that in. And basically, I'm just going to let this simmer for a little bit. We don't want to leave this liquid in here. We're just going to let this simmer to let those onions cook down just a little bit. And in the meantime, I'm going to be getting our stuff together to mix up our potato mixture. And y'all, that's it. Like I said, this is a good little dish. Now, you may have made this with the real potatoes, and I know that that's good too. Like I said, I've been wanting to make it, but tonight I just thought, whenever I realized I wanted to use this ground beef, and I thought, well, I have that other that I could toss in with it to do something. I seen the scalloped potatoes, and I thought, okay, this is a perfect time to do a little quick, easy $10 meal, because basically that's what it is. All right, so anyway, y'all, I'm just gonna let this cook down, let some of that liquid cook out, and I'll come back and we will get started on our potato mixture. All right, y'all, I have just been letting our ground beef cook for a little bit. You can see here it looks so nice and savory with that that au jus mix that we put in there, and then it already had the onion soup mix and the other ground beef. So now what I'm going to do is just place this in our little casserole dish. I sprayed it with a little bit of spray, and we're just going to place this in the bottom of our dish. Okay. And now we need to do our topping, which will be our potatoes. So I'm not going to rinse this pan out. We are going to use the same pan, and we are going to follow the directions on the box of these potatoes, which it says to add 1.5 cups of boiling water. So we're going to bring this up to a boil. So I'm going to turn this back on, and I'm just going to put it in this pan here, y'all, because it's all going in here anyway. And so that's what I'm going to do. So you do that with a little bit of butter, which I'm going to add a little bit of extra. Now we're going to add some extra. We're not going to go just strictly by the box and directions. Have y'all ever by the box instructions? So we're going to just kind of dress it up a little bit like we do a lot of other stuff, okay? So I'm going to let this come up to a boil a little bit, and I'll come back and we're going to add some other stuff to it. Alright, y'all, our liquid has come up to a boil, and the instructions on the box says to add 3/4 cup of milk. I am going to do 1 cup of heavy cream. Now remember, you can do any kind of cream. If you want to do milk, you can do half and half cream, whatever you want to do. This is just what I had, and I like to add a little bit extra because we're adding extra stuff in the dish, okay? So 1 cup of heavy cream, and that can just be whatever you have on hand. This is one of those very, very versatile dishes, and it's just good either way. It really is. I mean, I don't make this kind of stuff twice, and like I said, this is my first time ever even making it like this. And to this, I want to add in a little bit of sour cream. I noticed, like in the like the original ground beef and potato casserole type deal, a lot of the recipes call for cream of mushroom soup. Now, so if you want to do that, you can, but now, you know, y'all know I don't love cream of mushroom soup. So I like to go more with like the sour cream and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna do about half a cup, okay? So let's mix that around. And I know this pan looks terrible, having all this stuff around the sides, but that's good flavor, right? And I got me some little peas back here cooking. Y'all know I am so hooked on cooking these little peas now that it's just me, and I'm the only one here eating them. You know, for my boys, the green vegetable always had to be green beans. And I love them too, don't get me wrong, but that's what it always had to be. Alright, so we did our 1.5 cups of water. We did 1 cup of heavy cream. We did about 2 tablespoons of butter. And then I did about half a cup of sour cream. Alright, let's add in a little bit of salt. I'm just going to sprinkle some in. And then some pepper. Of course, I love pepper on these type of potatoes, even if I just cook them by themselves. I love the pepper. I dug my little pepper grinder out. I've had this thing forever. And I finally got it back out to use a little bit. And then I wanted to put some smoked paprika in these. Let me grab that back out. Alright, a little bit of smoked paprika. Alright, that's come up to a boil, so I'm going to turn it down. Just a little bit. That's optional. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, I'm thinking the only other thing that I wanted to add to this, y'all, like I said, I've been just putting this together in my mind. So we may have a doozy here, who knows, but it smells good and seems good so far. Alright, I'm going to put, I know we've got our little cream cheese packet, or not cream cheese, cheese packet. And I'm going to go ahead and do that first. The little seasoning cheese packet that comes with our potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to add a little bit of extra cheese too. I knew I was forgetting something. I kept looking at it and I was thinking, that color just don't look right. What is going on? It was our cheese. Goodness. Y'all, Belle got her little arthritis shot today. So she's been pretty much sleeping all afternoon. And it does that. But I tell you what, in the morning, she will be wide open. It just brings out that spunk in her, and I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. Alright, I don't have to worry about trying to get all that evened out. It'll all cook out in the end. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit of extra cheese. I'm thinking maybe around half a cup to a cup, whatever you want to do. Like I said, this is just one of those little throw together meals. That was some mild cheddar or sharp cheddar, and then this here is a little bit of the Italian style blend. Just use whatever you have, whatever you got. Y'all see somebody's over there hearing this cheese being tossed around, aren't you, Belle? All right, now what I'm gonna do is just toss our potatoes in here. This seems like a smaller box from the other ones that I normally use. I don't know that I've ever used that exact brand, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me. Okay. I'm going to back y'all up because I'm going to bring that pan over here, and we're going to just pour that over the top of our little ground beef mixture here. Y'all see what I got? See what I'm getting at here? Alright, so we are just going to pour this over. Get all that good stuff out. Now I know not everything is all smoothed out. That's okay. It will work itself out in the oven while it's cooking. get all you goody out. Okay. And I'm not really going to mix it up, y'all. I'm just going to kind of poke it around like this right here. You see what I mean? Just kind of poke it around, make sure all that good liquid gets down in there. Make sure your potatoes are pretty much covered. It's okay if they're I like for them to be kind of poking up because they get a little crisp that way. And the original directions for the box of these potatoes, I think they cook on what, like 450? Let me see here. Yeah, I'm not going to do 450 since I have it this way. I've got my oven on 400. Now, if I feel like I need to crank it up just a little bit, I may, but we're going to start just like that. And I'm not going to put any full on here. What I am going to do though is do a little bit of parsley. We gotta have a little bit of color on top, y'all. You know that. Now, if I were using real potatoes, fresh potatoes, now I would definitely probably cover it and do about 30 minutes first and then uncover it. Anyway, we're doing just the little box way. We're doing it the easy route. And I'm going to pop this in there, and I think I will start with about 30 minutes, and then I will go from there on 400. Look at our dish, y'all. It is looking so good. Look at this. I'll tell you what. So I cooked this on 400 for about, I don't know, I'd say 30, 35 minutes. I kind of got my, I forgot to set my timer. Y'all know how I do. Anyway, when it starts looking like this, you know it's got to be done. And on the box, it calls for 450 at 25 minutes. And so we did 400. So just, I would say 30, 35 minutes at 400. This is going to be done. Okay? Let's get some out. Let's get some out and see how we did here. I know it looks good. Look at that, y'all. Mercy me. Hang on, let me get my fork down here. Get the rest of that good stuff off of there. I love having that crispiness, y'all know, around the edges of the potatoes. That's my favorite part. And then, y'all know I got my little green peas over here that I've been just so hooked on lately. I'm gonna get me out some of those. Wait a minute, I can't use that spoon. Let me give you another spoon. There we go. And like I told y'all, you can even add your veggies in with this. I just decided not to. You know, I did that whenever I made something similar to this before. But I really like this, just the meat and the potato. I really do. Let me get some fresh pepper. Okay. Here we go. I know this is hot, 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 hot. But look at it. I think y'all gonna love this little potato dish. I think I'm going to too. Like I said, I've never made this before. I've not even made the original version, just using the real potatoes. I've seen it and I've always thought, oh, that looks so good, I need to make it. Never have, but I still plan to, even though I've done the easy version here. You know, that little powder packet, like the cheese seasoning mix that comes with your scalloped gratin potatoes. Now these were both, you know, sometimes you get just scallop, sometimes you get just a gratin. These were cheesy scallop. So anyway, you get kind of a little bit of both, and the flavor in those packets are always delicious. I've always enjoyed them. especially on a quick and easy dinner night, y'all. You can't beat it. You really can't. Mmm. Just as good as I expected. Y'all, this is delicious. Y'all know I'm all about doing fresh stuff, fresh potatoes. Y'all know I'm all about that. But when something quick and easy like this is good, it's good. And I'm going to give it credit. It is good. I would not tell y'all that just to be telling you. Mmm. That is good. I'm telling you. Y'all got to try it. Try my little green peas here. Mm. Use whatever seasoning you would like in your ground beef. However, I highly recommend a little bit of the au jus, a little bit of the onion soup mix. The flavor is outstanding. A little smoked paprika. Put you a little bit of water in there, simmer it down, and then in your cheese sauce mixture like we made up, throw you some sour cream in there, a little bit of extra cheese, according to your box on your, or according to the instructions on your box, and you'll love it. It is delicious. I'm telling you, this is really good. All right, y'all. I'm fixing to enjoy this. And I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.